Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of 2023. Today, the topic of the show is going to be my word for 2023. I'm excited about this one. Have you ever experienced something so crippling in your life that has made you feel broken? I have. Are you someone who has a giving heart but is struggling to feel good themselves? Are you consistently putting your needs aside to take care of everyone else? If so, you're not alone. Giving starts with giving to yourself so that you are able to give of yourself to other people. Isn't it time you took back control and discovered what makes you tick? Join me in my journey and find out how you can feel better about yourself, live your best life, and share that with others. Thinking of yourself, it doesn't make you selfish. It makes you brave. I'm Nelia, and this is the Giving Starts With You podcast. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Giving Starts With You podcast. I'm your host, Nelia Hutt. I can't believe this is episode 161. It feels like just the other day I started the show. Thank you so much for sticking with me until now, and I hope that you're going to enjoy all the wonderful episodes that are to come this year in 2023. As always, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you about what you would like to see on the show, what you've liked, what maybe you didn't like, what I could improve on. Hit me up at hello@neliahutt.com. So I hope you've all had a very Merry Christmas with your loved ones. And Christmas isn't always the best time of year for everyone. We don't all have families to celebrate. We don't all have loved ones. So I hope that everyone has remembered the people outside of their circle this year, and that the giving spirit brought some new ideas on how to share your time and share your love with others. So our topic for today is why I don't choose New Year's resolutions and what my word is for 2023. I've had some comments from people on social wondering what my word is. So today I'm going to disclose what my word is for 2023. So we all have set, or most of us know what it's like to set New Year's resolutions for ourselves. And I would be willing to bet that although most of us start off dedicated to the goals with intent, we believe that if we want it bad enough, they will become somehow easier to achieve, when in fact, the opposite is quite true. I find that the more pressure we put on ourselves for these New Year's resolutions, the less likely we are to succeed, and the more likely we are to disappoint ourselves. So what's the point? It's just crazy to me, the fact that we believe that all of our struggles and dreams and hope for a perfect year will all happen when the clock strikes midnight. When you think about it, it's really quite absurd and unrealistic that we have come up with this notion. It's almost like we're setting ourselves up for failure mentally. And why would we want to do that? So many things set us up for failure. So many, sometimes opinions of other people or people who don't understand us, make us feel bad about who we are. Why would we do this to ourselves intentionally, knowing that I think it's 87% of people don't keep their resolutions after the first 2 or 3 weeks? So why would we do this to ourselves? Why would I set up a list of unrealistic goals and perhaps even repeat unrealistic goals from previous years that just never happened for me? I just find this crazy. I don't know if you guys, and maybe you do set resolutions and it works for you, but for me, it does not work. So I'm going to stop beating myself up about it. We think of New Year as a new rebirth. We want it to be something positive. Why not? So we set ourselves up for failure for no reason. So we need to do the opposite. So instead, I was introduced to Word of the Year a few years ago by one of my mentors. And instead, I've adopted, as many other people have, my one word. So, this one word, what does this mean? So instead of saying, this year I'm going to lose 60 pounds, which it's a great goal, but to be a resolution, it's sort of like you're leaving the door open for disappointment if it doesn't happen. Yes, do I want to lose weight? Yes. Do I want to be healthier? Yes. Do I want to do all the things that I can in order to push me forward? Yes. But if I make it a New Year's resolution, it ain't going to happen. I'm just being honest. So the one word to me means that I keep that word in the forefront of everything that I do. I ground myself to the word. If I feel like I'm sliding off my path or where I want to be this year, I'll anchor myself to that one word, and it'll just keep me focused. So that's why I choose one word instead of New Year's resolutions. So I was thinking, when I decide my one word, how do I do that? So I reflect. I reflect on all the things that went right the year before. I reflect on all the things that went wrong. And there's a lot of things that went wrong, and there's a lot of things that went well. And in reflecting, you learn what you could do better. You learn perhaps from the mistakes that you made, or what worked and what is worth repeating. I think about what held me back and what launched me forward. So I know that you guys are wondering, so what the heck is her word for this year? So my word for this year is something that is going to help me, launch me forward, is going to prevent me from holding myself back, which I think is really going to make a difference this year. And that's what it's really all about. For the next year, my word for the next year is simplify. Simplify. Simple. The word simplify. What does that mean for me? It means not getting bogged down by huge, enormous, daunting tasks. When I see something that's huge, I'm launching a new project, or I'm starting a new position, or I have this huge thing, I have a floor of my house that needs organizing. I don't get it done. I don't get it done because it overwhelms me. It burns me out. It paralyzes me and I just can't do it. I can't see the beginning. I just want to get to the end. So my patience is lost. Everything is lost. So to simplify, I want to simplify my relationships. I want to simplify my processes, how I do things. I want to simplify my to-do list. Maybe even get rid of it altogether, because the more things, sometimes I put things on my to-do list just as a reminder that I need to do things. But I don't really need the reminder because it's there all the time. It's in the back of my head. I know the things are there. I see them in front of me every day. Do I really need to write them down in a to-do list? No. Simplifying. So it could be either purging and organizing and eliminating materialistic things that I do not need, that are taking up space. So I need to keep an eye on them. I need to clean them. I need to organize them. I need to look at them. And they make me anxious because there's just too many things. And we don't need things. So I want to simplify that part of my life. I also want to be super focused on my goals and not remind myself of all the things I did not get done, because that just stresses me out. So instead of these daunting tasks, I'm going to simplify my mind. I'm going to take things in steps, in baby steps, so that I can actually feel that I'm getting them done. We talked in an episode last year about taking baby steps versus big steps, and how when we take baby steps, we do feel that we're moving forward because there's movement. When we do these big, when we want things to happen just like that, when we want instantaneous gratification, we could become disappointed. Things don't work that way. When we're looking to make a big change in our lives and we want to see the results immediately, it doesn't work. We just disappoint ourselves. And isn't what we want to do really the opposite of that? Don't we want to encourage ourselves and set ourselves up for success? So, simplifying my life is going to be huge for me. Simplifying my entrepreneurial journey and the way that I look at my processes and my strategies and the way that I communicate with people and the way that I look at big projects that I want to create, everything will get done. Everything will become more focused. All of the things that I want to do don't have to sit heavily on my shoulders. I want to simplify my thoughts. I want to simplify the way that I do things so that I can get more done. So many times we busy ourselves and busy work to make us feel important, to make us feel like we're getting all of these things done, when realistically, nothing is efficient. We're not getting anything done. We're just running around in circles, getting ourselves tired, and ending up exactly where we were. So many hours I've spent in the last year bogged down with these heavy things that haven't moved me forward. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I need to choose. I need to be picky with how I spend my time. I need to simplify my processes. I need to simplify what I do, what's important to me. So it's going to create less burnout for me, and it's a gift that I can give to myself. This podcast is all about giving starts with you, and this is a gift I'm going to give to myself. Ways that I have already done this year is I've actually had a cold for the last over Christmas and New Year. And what did I do? Did I rush around and go crazy and spend all this money and buy all these gifts for people? No. I listened to my body. I listened to my health, how I was feeling, and just took it day by day, just simplified my day, simplified my life. Did people think that I didn't love them as much as I did last year because I didn't go out and buy all these gifts? Of course not. Did I save myself from burnout? Yes. One of the other things that I did was I started the year off with a day completely by myself, a day of reflection, a day to think of everything that I wanted and what I wanted for you. And I wrote a post about it on Facebook if you want to check it out. But I just wanted to get centered. So the very first day of the year, what I did was simplified my day. Just took it 1 minute at a time. Didn't feel pulled to do any one thing except just sit and be and think and start the year off by simplifying, not stressing about being good enough for everybody, doing things for everybody. It was just about me. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And I'm really interested in what your word is. If you decide to have a word, you don't have to decide to have a word, but it works for me. So when my life is really crazy, or I feel frustrated that things aren't going the way that I want or as quickly as I want, I'm going to look at my computer because I've got a sticky on there. I'm going to look at my whiteboard. I'm going to look around my house, and I'm going to remember the word simplify. I'm going to say, Nelia, you need to simplify what you're doing. You need to simplify your thoughts. So, guys, it's a short episode today, and that's why it's a day late. I'm publishing this a day late because I did take that day. I did take that day instead of rushing around and having my podcast come out in a rush. I took that day to think about my word and think about what I wanted to do. and I'm so better for it. So next week on the Giving Starts With You podcast, I have Dominice Clifton. Dominice Clifton is amazing. We're going to talk about breath work and how that can help you with all the things, how that can help you with anxiety, how that can help you with releasing trauma and living more authentically in a more aligned life. I intentionally left this episode and scheduled this episode to be the first interview of the year because I do think we need to ground ourselves with breath work. I am so excited for what this year is going to bring, and I am thrilled to have you here along for the ride. We're going to have some amazing interviews and some solo episodes as well, and some surprises. So stay tuned every week, every Monday, for a new episode of the Giving Starts With You podcast, where you and I will learn together how we can give to ourselves, how we can become resilient and heal all the things together. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe or leave a review. See you next week on the Giving Starts With You podcast.